Alright, just in case during this video you guys hear loud noises or something falling, that's because it's really windy outside and it's knocking over all our furniture out there, so that's probably why. Alright, now by the title of this video, you guys kind of already know where I'm going to be getting at. And this is just, like, little disclaimer, I don't hate the Xbox One. I really do like it. I really want the Xbox One to kind of, like, succeed. I want Microsoft to succeed. I want them to create that competitive market that they're supposed to. But in all reality, they're not really doing anything fantastic. They're just kind of there. I would kind of, like, compare this to you getting, like, or, like, getting your kids, sitting them down in front of you, and you kind of telling them, like, hey, guys, just want to let you know, I don't, show favoritism here, guys. I love you guys all equally. When in reality, you really kind of like Jimmy a little bit better because he's actually going on doing better things. He moved out. He's actually becoming a basketball player. And on the other hand, you have like little Timmy. He's not really your favorite because he's still living in your house. He won't give you that extra room that you could create your home theater. And he's just kind of going down the path of like drugs and alcohol. You gave him like an A+ for alcohol, but other than that, like for the drugs, you're just kind of like, okay, you could probably be doing something better because you're kind of just there. That's kind of like what Microsoft and PlayStation is doing. Like, you have PlayStation and Nintendo, they're kind of doing better things, so they're kind of, you're excited for them. But then you have Microsoft, who they're kind of on the sidelines, they're just sitting there and they're not really doing anything. They don't have any new games coming out. Nothing spectacular is going on. They're just there. They're collecting dust. And that's kind of what I'm going to get at, because like PlayStation and Nintendo, they've been doing a lot with exclusives. They've been doing a lot with their games. They've been doing a lot with their consoles. Microsoft, one thing I will give them though, is that they're doing really good with their backwards compatibility. Something that PlayStation, I would hope they would do, but they're not really doing anything with. I put credit where credit is due, and Microsoft, good job to you. But other than that, like, you don't really have anything new coming out. You have Sea of Thieves just around the corner. But other than that, Microsoft really hasn't done anything. And looking back at, like, the XBONE, when it was first released, the reason to buy the console was to play Halo the Master Chief Collection, which is just a bunch of remasters. You had Halo 5 right around the corner, and then Gears of War 4 was announced. Of course, you had ReCore, Sunset Overdrive, but in the end, you really didn't have tons of exclusives the way PlayStation and, like, Nintendo does. Granted, say what you want about the Wii U, that thing had exclusives, and those games were awesome. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. You're probably going to say, but Mushroom, what about Halo and, like, all those new games that come out? Like, those are exclusives. Why are you bagging on the Xbox? Well, it's not so much the exclusives that I'm bagging on, because they do have exclusives, just not a lot. But the exclusives we're seeing, they're the same exclusives we've seen on like the older Xbox 360. They're just series that are still carrying on, like the franchises, like Gears of War, like Halo, like Forza. You know how many Forzas got released? We're at Forza 7 already. Forza 7. And that's not including Forza Horizon. Now, I think we're on Forza Horizon 3. So what, you get a new Forza every year? You're telling me that if I buy Forza today, tomorrow there's gonna be another Forza? No, thank you. That's why I don't buy Forza anymore, because I played the third one, then the fourth one came out. I was just like, oh yeah, I'll pick up the fourth one. Then 5 minutes later, I heard that Forza 5 is in the making, and then Forza Horizon. Like, to me, it baffles me on like how much they're trying to milk the Forza series. Sure, Microsoft might have Halo and Gears of War, but really, we didn't need anything more from those franchises because they ended on a really high note, and I thought that was really good. But Gears of War is continuing, and Halo, well, 343 is just, they're killing it. Slowly but surely, they are killing it. Not to say it's bad at all, but I'm just saying it's not what it used to be. Again, sure, Microsoft, they have the exclusives, but do they really? Because last time when I checked, when I was playing Halo Wars 2, I thought it was an exclusive, like the brand said on the case. But in reality, I actually bought a game that's not really an exclusive, because you can play this on PC, and it hurts me a little bit because Microsoft doesn't really have exclusives. You want to get technical, they don't have any. They probably have like Sunset Overdrive, Ori and the Blind Forest, but really you could play most of these games on PC. And at this point, when you say that you could play all these games on PC and play better versions of them, it pretty much makes the XBONE useless. And if you're going to come at me and say, well, what about the PlayStation You can play, you know, some of those games on PC. Why isn't that thing useless? Well, let me just tell you guys something real quick. The PlayStation has exclusives. Games that are exclusive to that console are reason to buy the PlayStation. Games like Uncharted, Persona, you got Bloodborne on the PlayStation. You can't really argue with that. You got Street Fighter 5, granted probably not the best Street Fighter game, but it's still there as an exclusive. You also have the Guilty Gear series, God Eater. There's a bunch of games you have on the PlayStation that you can't play on the PC or anywhere else. That's the reason we buy a PlayStation 4. Same with Nintendo. You have a Nintendo to play Nintendo brand games that can't be played anywhere else. They're very fun games. The XBONE, you have Recore, Sunset Overdrive, and that's pretty much all I can think at the top of my head. You might have indie exclusives, but no one here is sitting here saying, I bought an XBONE to play all the Xbox One indies. It really, that's not why anybody bought it. If you want to play indies, you buy a PC and you download Steam. That's basically what you do. And this is where the problem comes, is that Microsoft, they're not focusing on the XBONE a lot. Yeah, they probably created the Xbox One X, probably the one it's the most powerful console ever created. But really at this point, ask yourself, is there any reason to buy an Xbox One X? If you don't have a 4K TV, if you don't have like that high HD quality video stuff that you need to put out or whatever, there is no reason to buy an Xbox One X at all. At this point, you're better off putting your money towards Microsoft. And the problem right here lies where Microsoft, they're kind of competing with themselves, because why buy an Xbox when you can buy a PC that can play all your Xbox One games, run every game way better than an Xbox One, and you can modify that PC to your liking, so you can put the graphics card, you can put whatever you want in that PC, and it's yours exclusively. You made that PC, you felt accomplished, and you made a better version of the Xbox One X than Microsoft ever could, because you made that console yourself. That's really what it comes down to, because Microsoft, you might be selling the Xbox One. I get it. It's simpler. You can, you buy the game, it's going to play all your Xbox One games, but what is the reason for people who actually sit back and think, like, hey, maybe should I buy the Xbox One, or should I just invest in a PC? PC might be a little more expensive, but it's kind of the way that a lot of Xbox One players are going, because Microsoft really isn't providing the Xbox One with any support. Not to mention that it's super hard, I guess, to get Xbox One games to 1080p or 60 frames a second, because in all reality, almost all the Xbox One games that have come out, they're not at the highest quality at all. A lot of the games, like, they look vastly different than other games. Like, for instance, I'm just pulling out for whatever, Dark Souls, for instance. Now, I know what you guys are probably thinking, well, if, why does that matter? The gameplay matters. Well, to me, or to you guys, I say, yeah, gameplay absolutely does matter. I can care less if a game is in like 1080p or like 900p, but to a lot of people who just care about like graphics and like the best game can look, it absolutely does matter. But take Dark Souls for instance, but Dark Souls 3 specifically, on the Xbox One it's running at like 900p, while on the PlayStation 4 it's running at 1080p at like a steady 30 frames per second, while the Xbox One is putting out 30 frames and below a second. The frame drops are real in that game. Trust me, I played both versions. You compare them like side by side, you might not be able to tell the difference at first, but when you start playing the game, it is vastly different in the way it runs. And it just comes down to Microsoft the console is not good. I mean, okay, no, it's good, it's impressive, but they're not putting forth the time to create exclusives, putting games out at the highest quality it can be. They're rushing games out like way too early. Halo 5 was rushed out too early. And I do think that Microsoft needs to take some time, step back, use some of the developers they have. They have Rare right now. They have a lot of developers that they could possibly use, and they're not using them. Developers that could create new IPs and reasons to buy the Xbox One. I've always looked at the Xbox One a place to where I play my shooters and stuff, but really Xbox One hasn't really given us that many great shooters. The 360 gave us a lot of great ones, but Xbox One, it's really, it looks casual. Now, I know I hate using that word casual, but in all reality, the way I see the Xbox One, it's not a system where I'm going to go there, I'm going to get a game that has amazing story or something that's just going to grab me by its gameplay, because Xbox One has all the third-party games, yeah, but it's just not something I go there for the exclusives, because in the end, none of the exclusives have really blown my mind, and I guess that could be preference, but in reality, to me, like, compared to what the other developers are putting out, the Xbox One has nowhere near of quality as those other developers or those other companies, the games that they're putting out for PlayStation, Xbox One is not coming close to at all in like terms graphically, terms of like storytelling. They're not creating anything new or anything fresh like PlayStation or Nintendo. And if you're asking me, well, what games have Nintendo and PlayStation put out? Okay, well, let's start with PlayStation real quick. PlayStation has put out Persona 5, a very amazing game with great narrative. Awesome. Also, they give us The Last of Us, Uncharted, the Uncharted series. There you go. All of that stuff, they're all recognized for the characters, their storyline, their gameplay. It's all there, and it's all beautiful and well crafted. Nintendo might not be there for story, but they are there for the gameplay, the fun factor. Games like Zelda Breath of the Wild, it's a beautiful game for such a small piece of hardware. It really pushes the Switch to its full potential. Then you have your Mario games. You have Mario Kart. These are all party games you can play with your friends. Xbox One, I look at it, and then the moment I turn on my Xbox One, it really is just one big advertisement box. Ads will pop out everywhere. There will be user interface issues where my Xbox One will freeze. My friends are having problems with that. I know it's not just me. The user interface for the Xbox One sucks. And really, all the Xbox One has given us is really Halo Wars 2 and Gears of War 4, a story that really shouldn't have never been continued. So, in reality, it's just Xbox One really isn't offering us anything new. We got our Call of Duties, we got our Battlefields, we got our indie games. The only thing that I think Xbox One is really delivering on are the what'd you call it? Backwards compatibility games. So I can play all my old games. And for instance, I'm gonna just say that Halo 3, I much rather play like Halo 3 on the original 360 disc than I would on the Master Chief Collection. Now, when you have Microsoft backing up a giant project like the Master Chief Collection and the older versions of those games still hold up way better than the Master Chief Collection, you know you have a problem. So in all reality, Microsoft, I hope that they get their crap together with Sea of Thieves. Hopefully that releases just flawlessly and everything works fine. But they really need to get their stuff together, their crap together, and just kind of blow up Xbox One with the exclusives. Because we had one that was coming out we were all looking forward to, Scalebound, that got canceled. So hopefully this year Microsoft can figure something out and create some nice rich worlds for us to explore with some awesome stories and some awesome gameplay. But really, guys, that's all I have to say about the Xbox One. It might have sounded like I'm whining about it a little bit, but I just wanted to do better. Like I said, I don't really hate the Xbox One. I want it to succeed, but right now it's kind of just collecting dust. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Do you guys like the Xbox One more than anything? Is there a problem you have with the Xbox One you think Microsoft should fix in the future? Whatever it is, guys, let me know in the comments down below. And as always, guys, if you guys like what you see here, remember to like, comment, subscribe, upvote, or follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. And remember, guys, when you guys are gaming, power up.